was just like I couldn't fathom it. And then afterwards, when I started to like get the breakdown in my mind
Mhm.
of what this was in my life,
Mhm.
I expanded out, where in that chapter I talk about scapegoating and I
Yeah.
talk about black sheeping
Yeah.
and exclusion. The very function of excluding
Mhm.
is making someone other.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is, and then I just like, it was like this explosion. I even like, for several months, I cried. I cried just because I was looking at the world, understanding what it meant to be used, abused, and discarded.
Mhm. Mm.
And I thought, oh my God, this is
Mhm.
what people are doing so much all of the time, and
Mhm.
how we have institutionalized this action, this way of being, this
Mhm.
way of perceiving, this way of being. This isn't, and then it was like, wow, this is everywhere. And I had that their misbehavior
Mhm.
was good in a way for me to see who they
Yeah, no,
really are.
yeah, some of the hardest lessons are pretty simple, but they hurt the most. Now, one of the things you wrote in the chapter was singling out an individual as bad, treating them with contempt, blaming them for the dysfunctions of the group, and throwing them out was for them a technique to improve the quality of the group through exclusion. But it was an expression of how they function. To consider themselves exclusive, they needed to exclude. And you were excluded because you were being something you weren't supposed to be in order to keep them comfortable. That's a
Right.
really good point. People will deflect their own defaults of character, if you will, to take that from the 12-step program. If they're not owning their stuff, they're going to deflect it out. And if you were a mirror for that and they couldn't handle it, or their egos were too, rigid, that they couldn't find that vulnerability within themselves. And it just shows me who I don't want to be.